Hey there, this is Matthew from Patchworks, and today I want to show you how easy it is to generate sequences on the Polyend Play. The Polyend Play is an 8-track audio player, so it's a sample player, and an 8-track MIDI sequencer, and it has a very powerful MIDI sequencer. And so we paired the Polyend Play with the Roland J-6, which has that classic Juno synth engine in it, and it's a very budget-friendly way to get into that Juno sound. So what I'm going to do is use the Polyend Play's fill features. And some of these features came from the Polyend tracker and made its way into the Play, and I think we're all very happy about that. It was one of the coolest things that was in the Polyend tracker. So what I'm going to do is generate a drum pattern really quickly on here and show you how easy it is to get that going. I've already loaded some sample packs into the Play, and that's just to save some time. Loading sample packs is very simple on the Polyend Play, and it kind of works in a folder structure. So you load a bunch of folders of samples, and the Play will pick from those sample folders and generate patterns. It's actually very intuitive and super cool and fast, very fast. And that's really what I wanted to show you, is just how quickly this can be. So we're on the audio side of things. We're looking at the audio tracks. I don't have anything laid down. I can hold down Shift and select an area, and here I can just fill this in with pattern generation, or I can select those tracks right here. So you want to use 3 tracks to do a beat fill. That's what it's called. And it puts a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat on these tracks. So I'm going to hit the fill button here, and in my type, I'm going to choose beat. And we have tons of genres to choose from. I mean, just so many, and I'm sure Polyend Play is going to keep adding more genres and different kind of beats that you can program on the Polyend Play. How about Latin? Let's see what Latin sounds like. Let's fill this up with a Latin beat. Cool, so if I hit fill again, it's going to keep grabbing different samples from my sample folders. As you can hear, I only have one snare choice for it to choose from, so it keeps using that same snare. So this is fine. This really gets my point across. I just want to show you how easy it is for us to just grab different patterns. 909 snare. And I just think this is super cool. And we'll just stop on one of these. I would like one that has hi-hats in it. Here we go. I like this. Garage 2. So if I keep hitting fill, perfect. This is perfect. Okay, so now we can go over to the MIDI side here. So if I hold Shift and hit patterns, you can see it says audio/MIDI. That's going to bring us over to the MIDI tracks. So these are our 8 MIDI tracks. You can see you can mute, solo, and also check out different variations of those tracks. And then of course here we can actually select our tracks right there. The way that the tracks work is really just a line across the grid. It's not like actually a specific audio track or MIDI track, because you can put any CC message or any MIDI message or any audio sample per step on here, and it's not going to have anything to do with the tracks. Tracks is just how you select rows of events on the grid. So what I want to do is generate some melodic information to send over to the J6. And we're not using the J6 in its chord mode, and that's kind of its special power, is that it can do a chord mode over here, and we will demonstrate that too. But we're just going to send over a polyphonic note output. So first, we'll start off with just some basic monophonic notes, and I'm going to select one of these tracks, and we're going to go fill. Oh, but I want to fill random, so I'm going to choose a density that's a little bit lower and fill it up, and we can hear this playing the J6. Cool. And I like the random rhythms it gives you, like they're always inspiring right off the bat. I do have scales in my Polyend Play. So I can just use a scale type, which it's already set to. So all of these notes are running through the C minor scale at this time. So if I go into randomize and select like 1 octave, I'm able to randomize these notes within that octave, and it's also being processed through that scale. So all of these notes work together, which is really cool. If I turn on this little chord mode, actually sounds really good, right? So this is really cool to use it in this way. Let's give it some reverb. Maybe some delay. Without the chord mode. But we could keep randomizing it. So now the notes will be further, 1 octave up or 1 octave down. We could try 2 octaves. Try that with the chord mode. That works really well too. So already you can see how easy it was for us to generate something very musical using these 2 devices together. Now let me show you something else that I think is pretty cool. And so I am going to turn off chord mode here, but we're actually going to use 4 tracks. This does 4 notes of polyphony, so I'm going to do 4 tracks here, and we're just going to do random generated 16-step sequences and let them randomly lay on top of each other to kind of generate a chord sequence that way. So I'll hold Shift and select from here to here, and then I'll go to fill, and we'll just keep using this random 45% density, and there's our pattern. We can keep hitting it, and we'll just keep giving us a different variation. That looks good to me. And I'll go over to randomize, and we'll give it some randomization, 2 octaves up and down, and let's have a listen. Sick. This is not something you want to use the chord mode for, because that would be crazy, but it sounds really cool this way. We can change the sound over here. Give it some reverb. Cool. And if we like what we've randomized here, we hit save. And now that randomization is applied, and these notes now have that note input saved into the data on the grid. But so we can do another randomization. %. It's a bit much. Let's do 1 octave again. Make it into kind of an ambient thing here. If we hold Shift and turn the delay here, we can change the delay time. Sounds great. Super easy to do. Super fun to get inspired with these 2 devices together. And they kind of look great together, I think. So I'm Matthew from Patchworks. I'll see you next time.